Hello everyone, welcome to this YouTube video. Today we are going to be reacting to the scariest Backrooms level explained by Trust Me Bro. Again, Trust Me Bro. Check out Trust Me Bro. What? Okay, yeah, let's just jump straight into it, I would say.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never been so sure about this whole Backrooms thing. To me, it's just never seemed really scary. I mean, what's so terrifying about an empty office building? Just look at where I'm at, for example. I'm literally in purgatory. But on top of that, I'm not even sold that the Backrooms are real. But even if they were real, I would go there myself just to prove how not scary the Backrooms really are. I mean, well, I guess you better be careful what you wish for. But since we're here on location, I might as well tell you guys about the scariest levels that I find while I'm here. It's probably only going to get scarier as the list goes on. So wish me luck, and let's dive into the scariest Backrooms levels that we know of so far. Level 0. I figured there was really no better start to this video than Level 0. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Level 0 is the quintessential representation of what the Backrooms are all about. And it's often considered the starting room for the entire Backrooms as a whole. It's by far the most known and recognizable version of the Backrooms, and for that reason, I knew we had to start here. Not only is Level 0 the most famous backroom, but in my opinion, it is one of the most terrifying, albeit potentially a bit tame compared to some of the others we're going to discuss. With that being said,
it looks so scary though. Like if you've seen the movie, I have. Level 0 is what is in that movie, and then what's his name? Captain Clark looks really scary. I know he's not in those the original Backrooms, but in the movie Captain Clark is really scary, and like some of the scenes, and yeah, I wouldn't be paid $10 million. No, I need to be paid over $10 million to go there and sleep over one day. 10 million minimum. And I'm not kidding.
Level 0 is in no way, shape, or form boring, but I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, so let me go over the basics. As I mentioned, the reason why Level 0 is considered the beginning of the Backrooms is because most of the people that no-clip into the Backrooms end up on this exact level. And for some of my older viewers, or for viewers that aren't familiar with the term no-clipping, it's essentially a video game term that refers to being able to move through objects. And just like how I fell through the floor in the intro and now I'm in the Backrooms, that's essentially how most people end up there. They no-clip or fall through the floor. You're welcome, 20 people over the age of 40 watching this video. Level 0 is considered safe and secure, putting it in a class 1 of survival difficulty. It is believed that there are no entities living in Level 0, which for the most part is a good thing. Although it does mean that you are likely—
Isn't there entities there? The Captain Clark? What? I haven't actually watched the original Backrooms, but I thought there was entities there. Maybe not Captain Clark, because I know he's just in the movie, but aren't there scary things there? It's not. I didn't really know that actually.
completely alone. The level itself consists of a never-ending network of connecting rooms that all essentially have the same structure. They're all empty, they all have the same distinct wallpaper, they all have this dingy yellow tone to them, and they all share the same gross feeling and smelling damp carpet. Potentially one of the most offensive things about Level 0. I guess beside the loud sound of the fluorescent lights. All of these lights are bright, ugly, and annoying. Some of them are flickering, but all of them are extremely loud. Louder than they would be in the real world. Now, at face value, Level 0 may seem like the most boring backroom ever, but you gotta understand, for many, this is the only Backrooms level that they'll ever see. And regardless of if it is or isn't, the initial shock is more than terrifying. You don't need a crazy monster to be terrified by, first of all, literally no-clipping through reality into an alternate dimension, and then B, ending up in this infinite loop of nothingness in a place you've never been before for no apparent reason. The shock of that alone would be mind-boggling, and the psychological horror of existing in this world indefinitely, in most cases to your death due to dehydration and starvation, is enough in my book to at least earn it a rank on the scariest levels list. Level 0 is short, sweet, and to the point. It's simple, and in my opinion, terrifying. And in case you wanted to come here yourself, there is really only one way. According to the wiki, falling out of reality is the most frequent method of entering Level 0. But if you wanted to leave, that's a whole nother story. Level 2. Level 2 is the third level of the Backrooms, and while it does share some general similarities with Level 0, it is very distinct in its own regard, and is already a massively more dangerous level than the
Like I said, I haven't watched anything other than Level 0. Wait, is that two eyes back there? I think so. Yeah, is this the level? Because that looks kind of cool. Is it like a train station? No, I don't know.
one we discussed previously. On initial glance, you can just tell that Level 2 looks different. Most notably the fact that you're not in a brightly lit office building anymore. You are in what appears to be the maintenance area or the boiler room of what would have been a massive industrial location. For the most part, in Level 2, you are in an extremely tight, hot, and dark
Okay, so not a train station.
corridor that is loud and considerably dangerous for reasons we'll get into. Level 2 is also known as pipe dreams because the narrow industrial corridor that you are in is surrounded by high pressure and high temperature pipes that lead to no discernible location and very likely go on forever. Similarly to Level 0, Level 2 is one of the only 3 locations you can first reach by no-clipping out of reality. And while a vast majority of people that no-clip into the Backrooms end up in Level 0, there is a small chance you could end up in Level 1 and an even smaller chance you can end up in Level 2. It is reported that Level 2 has a Class 3 survival difficulty, meaning that it is unsafe, unsecure,
Oh shit.
and there is a confirmed entity count, meaning that on this level, you are definitely not alone. And some of the notable co-inhabitants of this level are the following. You have entities known as clumps, hounds, smilers, and skin stealers, none of which you'd want to come face to face with. But
Bro, what? And what was that picture, dude? This is probably the scariest one, but like any of these, if they just started like running at me, I would be scared to death, dude. Like actually though.
face with. But unfortunately, that is simply an unavoidable reality when exploring Level 2. And realistically, you have no option. When you are in Level 2, you can either sit and wait for your death where you are, or you could try to explore Level 2, hoping to eventually find an exit. And interestingly, in this level, there are a few. However, in your travels, there are plenty of dangers you can experience. Exposed electric cables that can shock you, bursts of steam occasionally coming out of pipes seemingly randomly, extremely loud and hot parts of the tunnel, and of course the chance that you encounter one of the entities I mentioned previously. The only known ways to exit Level 2 are unfortunately the result of exploring the massive labyrinth that is this maintenance tunnel. Certain doors, fire escapes, hallways, and even manhole covers could potentially lead to an exit, but unfortunately, all of these exits will only take you to other Backrooms levels, many of which, at least in my opinion, are worse than the one you're already on. Level Fun. Level Fun by far is one of the most interesting...
Is this the one with the people that walk around with the balloons? No, how are they? The party people. I don't know what they're called, but I think that's what this, because this one I've seen actually too. I think about this one, Level 0, that pool rooms thing, and like there's like many hills and like houses on the top of the hills or something. I've seen that. But this, I remember this level. Like, I don't know from where, but I remember it.
Complex and controversial levels we're going to discuss, and I'm going to do my best to summarize all of it while maintaining a relatively brief section. Level Fun is called Level Fun for 2 reasons. 1, because it looks fun. I mean, just look at it. But don't let looks deceive you. And 2, because it's said that the partygoers that inhabit Level Fun actually hacked the Backrooms database to change the original number to the word fun, making it more eerie and cryptic, and in some cases, harder to even identify and locate. This level itself is considered to be a Class 5 survival difficulty, meaning that it's unsafe, unsecure, and it has not only entities present, but an entity infestation. And the entities that possess this level are beyond terrifying. But before we get to them, the area itself is essentially an innocent-looking early 2000s or 1990s birthday party. There's bright colors, simple decorations, although nobody is seemingly here. And there is an endless amount of these rooms that are slightly different in variation, but all have the same sort of idea. On appearance only, Level Fun seems like one of the most chill and inviting levels we've discussed so far. It's not some hot maintenance hallway, it's not some endless void, it's endless rooms, sure, but at least these rooms have furniture and some cool party decorations to lift your mood. However, we're forgetting one important piece of the puzzle: the partygoers, the entities that inhabit this level. The entities that are advertising this level on plenty of other levels, trying to lure people in. And what these partygoers are essentially victims of a virus that had spread through this entire level. Partygoers themselves look like people in hazmat suits, but upon closer inspection you can see that they are tall, simple creatures that have a very smooth, leathery type skin that is bright yellow, with its only distinguishing feature being a smiley face carved onto its face. These creatures are reportedly extremely intelligent. However, they are slow, so their best chance of capturing prey is by tricking them. One of the biggest way the partygoers bait their victims is by leaving balloons in inconspicuous areas. And if you ever see one of these balloons anywhere in the backrooms on any level, it is paramount that you avoid it, because even just touching the balloon will cause the disease to spread to you, and within an hour, you yourself will become a partygoer. And what this means is you will essentially lose all control of your mind, and will quickly become an involuntary killing machine.
Oh shit, that's so creepy. That's weird.
Doing what partygoers do. And I really haven't even gotten to the most disturbing part of these partygoers yet, because their sole goal and purpose is to capture prey, bring them back to level fun, and turn the body of their victim into cakes. Cupcakes,
Whoa, that's creepy. I don't like that. They turn their victims into cake.
birthday cakes, it really doesn't matter. They disguise their victim's flesh as a cake and then feed on it. And then the cycle continues. And it's due to this cycle that people that come in contact with these partygoers either become one or end up becoming the meal of one, causing the infestation on this level to be so out of control, making level fun possibly the most dangerous level we've discussed so far, and in my opinion, terrifying for that reason. Information on this level as a whole is relatively limited. However, everything we do know, for me, definitely earned it a spot on this list. You can no-clip onto level fun simply by touching any party paraphernalia you find in other levels. Although, remember not to touch the balloons. And if you're ever looking to leave level fun, it is said that some party posters on the wall, if touched, can no-clip you into another level. Level Fun Plus. You didn't think it was over, did you? Level Fun
Plus
has only just begun. And Level Fun Plus is an interesting, and in my opinion, even more terrifying subsect of the original Level Fun. The two levels share glaring similarities, however, have very stark contrasts, which of course I'm going to discuss. For starters, Level Fun and Level Fun Plus both resemble birthday parties. However, Level Fun Plus is a little bit more dynamic. There are more ballrooms and bouncy castles. Birthday rooms look a little bit different, and there are more decorations to explore. And overall, it has a much more inviting appearance, at least at an initial glance. However, only shortly after experiencing Level Fun Plus, it becomes obvious that where you are is far worse than wherever you came from. The survival difficulty of this level is literally classified as Class Fun, which, while sounds like a non-issue, is actually an extreme issue, because it once again means that the partygoers must have hacked the survival difficulty classification, meaning that not only is this room hard to identify, its survival difficulty is also hard to quantify. Although we still do have the three primary stats surrounding this level. It is reported to be extremely unsafe, extremely hazardous to your mental health, and overall is controlled entirely by hostile entities, taking it a level even further than Level Fun, which only had an infestation. One of the most notable differences about Level Fun Plus is the fact that we have some new mental afflictions that come with this level, with Level Fun Plus specifically breeding a very strong feeling of deja vu. It begins to affect whoever enters Level Fun Plus almost instantly, and very quickly begins to become a problem for them. Interestingly, this deja vu feeling makes all of these party rooms you experience feel more comfortable and familiar, which initially does ease tension. With your mind playing tricks on you, all of these different bouncy houses and ball pits seemingly remind you of your childhood birthday parties, and you genuinely feel a sense of joy that you may have never felt in the backrooms at all. However, while this does sound pleasant, it works directly against your favor, as you begin to lower your guard and become more vulnerable for the entities that exist on this level. And speaking of entities, just like on Level Fun, how we had the party goers, which were these yellow, terrifying creatures, on Level Fun Plus, we have one level-specific creature known as the Party Creator. And he looks essentially...
Okay, so it's like basically the same, just purple. And yellow hats, Party Creator. So Level Fun Plus is just upgraded version of Level Fun, just way worse. Got it. So I don't want to go there. I'm probably never gonna go to any of these places.
Essentially the exact same as the party goer. However, it is purple and reportedly much more dangerous. On top of just being purple, the
shit.
party creators are also reportedly twice the size of the party goers.
shit.
But their advancement doesn't stop there. It's also reported that the party creators are essentially godlike versions of the party goers. And this is believed because the power that the party creators have on Level Fun Plus is unmatched by basically any entity that is known in any of the backrooms. For starters, the party creator on Level Fun Plus can essentially edit, shift, change, or create any new room that they'd like at a whim. And on top of being able to edit and create and modify their direct environment, they're also able to directly control the party goers. The party goers and the party creators both have the same goal: to kill and consume. However, how the party creator goes about it is more elaborate. Party creators don't simply want to just immediately destroy you. They want to play into your deja vu and confuse you. They want to make you feel safe, and then uneasy, and then safe, and then uneasy, over and over again, to torture you mentally. They'll chase you physically, even though they don't have to, simply for the fun of it. And eventually, just like the party goer, the party creator will end you. On top of the physical danger of the party creators and the mental danger of the deja vu and torment, it is also said that there is extremely loud and repetitive music playing in Level Fun Plus that is designed specifically to cause hallucinations, meaning that you could be walking around this birthday party themed wasteland while experiencing hallucinations, false memories, and ultimately having your reality bent by a creature that is only playing.
What? This is basically God then. What what the frick?
With you before they end you. And in my opinion, that's definitely the most terrifying thing we've discussed so far. And yet, we're still somehow only scratching the surface. The only known way to enter Level Fun Plus is by surviving and trekking deep into Level Fun. And the only way to leave is unfortunately non-existent. If you ever find yourself in Level Fun Plus, there is absolutely no chance of escaping the Shady Gray. Once again, we find ourselves in a level that is not even numbered. And in Backrooms mythology, that's more or less of a calling card of levels that are downright unhinged. The Shady Gray is potentially one of the most mysterious and eerie Backrooms levels, and the entire location and experience start to finish is just downright distorted, for lack of a better word. Interestingly, the Shady Gray is not one level. It is actually a set of levels, many of which that are unexplored or at least unreported on due to explorers never making it home. There is believed to be 8 sublevels of the Shady Gray, but only 5 of them have been documented. And yes, as you can likely tell, every level that exists within the Shady Gray has this dull, monochromatic gray look and glitchy distortions which you'll only see more and more of. The lack of color.
Okay, this seems weird.
While depressing, is definitely one of the least concerning parts of this entire level, for reasons we'll get into. And I guess what better place to start than the sublevels that exist within the Shady Gray. The first sublevel is known as 00, and this sublevel is believed to be the most stable, safe, and explorable portion of the entire Shady Gray. Sublevel 00 is famously known for this seemingly random shed that exists in the forest. And this forest has trees that are full of glitched leaves that are either constantly twitching or clipping in and out of each other. And while, as I mentioned, it's relatively safe and stable, that only remains true during the daytime. And when day turns to night, you're on your own. There is a day-night cycle on the sublevel, however, there is no gradients between day and night. There is seemingly only the flip of a switch, and if you are not prepared when nighttime comes, you are truly screwed. During the day on sublevel 00, there are no entities whatsoever. However, at night, there is an entity infestation, and these entities are known as howlers. However, they can only be heard and have never been seen, because at night it becomes so pitch black that nothing is visible. And also, no source of light here works at night. The next sublevel in the Shady Gray is known as sublevel 1, and you can enter it by using a stick to draw in the mud on level 0. Once you draw in the mud, it will open up a hole in the floor and allow you to reach the next sublevel. This sublevel takes place in a massive black and white mansion. However, instead of leaves glitching out in this level, it is furniture glitching out. If you happen to interact with this furniture, you yourself will begin glitching out at an atomic level, causing extreme pain and in some cases, death. Besides the glitchy furniture, you are more or less just stuck within this massive mansion. Although, there is one entity that exists. He is known as the landlord and kind of resembles a shadow man or a hat man. It is reported that if you encounter the landlord and he sees you, he will follow you. And if he finds you and catches up to you, he will of course kill you. However, escape from the landlord is possible if you're agile and lucky, but it's definitely not easy. Following that, we have the sublevel known as sublevel 2. Sublevel 2 is a relatively interesting paradox. It is essentially a vast, sprawling forest of trees that have no leaves and are covered in snow. And that's basically all you can see infinitely. However, it's not cold. It's extremely
What? This is scary though. Like the landlord also looks scary. It looks like Roblox villain. No, what's that game? Like 666 something. No, wait, that's Roblox guy. My mind is blanking out. I don't know what it's called.
hot. There are some places that you can hide from the sun on this level. However, they are few and far between. And your best bet is try to escape rather than try to hide. Now, if you're curious how to leave sublevel 2, you actually have to encounter the only entity in the sublevel, known as the Fallen Angels. And they're essentially a passive entity that you can communicate with, although while they're pretty secretive about their actual origins, they will pass you to the next sublevel if you request them to. Although, if you ask them about level 71, they will get extremely aggressive. The next sublevel, sublevel 3, is essentially a vast ocean that is full of clocks of all things, and a very small amount of islands scattered across this water. The water itself is extremely toxic and corrosive, and it's believed to be some sort of mixture of motor oil, water, and mercury even. The clocks that you can find in this water are really weird, and all kind of have their own property, but essentially, depending on which one you find, whether it be a digital, analog, grandfather clock, or wristwatch, if you interact with it, something will happen, typically resulting in you being teleported to a different backroom level, or even the death of another individual. So it's best to avoid any watches in the water of sublevel 3 of the Shady Gray. Now, the last documented sublevel of the Shady Gray is known as sublevel 4, unsurprisingly. You can only arrive here by touching one of the clocks in the water in the previous sublevel. And once you get here, you're going to be immediately faced with regret. Once again, like the previous sublevel, you will be dropped in the middle of water. Although in this case, the water is safe to touch, however, you cannot drink it. And while in sublevel 3, the water you were in was seemingly surrounded by endless water, in sublevel 4, you can see that you are surrounded by a city skyline. And naturally, that's where you're going to try to swim to. However, if you do, you will notice countless aggressive entities on the street, and if you try to break into any of these skyscrapers that are currently locked, you will only be met with more aggressive entities that will likely end your life. The specific entities that exist in this sublevel are known as the Mangled and Facelings. Like every other sublevel of the Shady Gray, the entire location is black and white, and on sublevel 4 specifically, on top of entity dangers, there is massive environmental dangers, specifically rapid temperature changes and massive natural disasters that happen seemingly randomly. The only real way to leave sublevel 4 in the Shady Gray entirely is by no clipping out accidentally. But besides that, you're left to your own devices. If you continue reading past the documented knowledge about the sublevels that I just discussed, you're going to find a lot of cryptic images and text in regards to the rest of the Shady Gray. And it's believed that beyond the sublevels we've discussed, the Shady Gray essentially becomes a place where reality simply makes no sense, and the concept of anything ceases to exist. You don't exist, life doesn't exist, death doesn't exist, nothing makes sense. The linear progression of this one level almost makes it feel like you're doing something. You're making progress. You're going from sublevel to sublevel, as you would do in most of the backrooms. However, this one feels more linear. You're consistently in a similar state of black and white. The settings that you're in are familiar, and I think the fact that you can progress.
And this like whole stage seems kind of like bad if it has like 8 different stages in one big stage. Seems pretty scary, I would say.
So easily in this level leads you to feel that you're making your way out, potentially all the way out of the backrooms themselves. However, you're not even making out of the Shady Gray, and all of the levels that you experience are just sublevels. But yeah, the Shady Gray, in my opinion, is kind of just a summary of everything we've discussed so far. Environmental horror, mental torment, physical danger, mental confusion, time dilation, and everything else you can imagine. The Shady Gray is beyond terrifying, and somehow we still have 2 more levels to discuss. Level exclamation mark. Level exclamation mark is likely one of the most terrifying levels for one of the most unassuming reasons. This level actually has something we've never seen before, and that one thing is physical activity. Level exclamation mark is also known as level run for your life, for reasons that will become obvious. This level's survival difficulty is a level 5, which means it's unsafe, unsecure, and it has an entity infestation. As you can see, this level takes place in what appears to be in a liminal hospital corridor, although the corridor is only illuminated by red exit signs. and you can't help but notice the ear-piercing alarm sound that accompanies the flashing red lights. These two factors alone make the ambiance of this already liminal and creepy space quite terrifying. But of course, it gets worse. In these hallways, there are doors every 3 meters. And every 10 meters, there is a glowing red exit sign in the hallway. Interestingly, level Run for Your Life is one of these shorter levels, with the entirety of its hallway being roughly 20 kilometers long, which, while extremely long, is smaller than the sheer infinity of the other levels we've discussed. However, what makes this level unique is the fact that as soon as you no-clip into this level, you are met with a massive horde of aggressive and angry entities sprinting towards your exact location. Now, here's the good news. When you no-clip into this level, you no-clip halfway in, meaning that if the entire hallway is this long, you're in the middle, and the creatures that are chasing you are actually all the way at the very beginning, roughly 10 kilometers behind you. So you essentially have a 10-kilometer head start in a 20-kilometer race. But keep in mind that the creatures that are chasing you are extremely fast, and you're going to have to hope that you can at least use your 10-kilometer head start to outrun the horde that so desperately wants to end you. Your sprint isn't straightforward either. You're not just running a normal 10K, you're also trying to dodge hospital equipment, collect energy bars that are for some reason scattered around, and also avoid clumps, which are just kind of in your way as well. This level is purposely trying to trip you up to ensure that the horde reaches you. But in case you're able to make it to the end of the hallway, you'll be met with one final exit door, and when you leave, you will be sent to another level, typically one that is much more peaceful. And interestingly, no matter where else you go in the Backrooms, you will never, ever be sent back to level ! Meaning that while this level is terrifying and requires strenuous physical exercise, potentially the most terrifying thing we've discussed all day, it is one of the few Backrooms levels that can only be experienced once. The only two known ways to make it to this actual level is to no-clip under a table with an exclamation point on it on level 521, or if you touch a Christmas decoration on level 655. But on top of just trying to intentionally reach this location, almost anybody at any time could randomly be sent here for no apparent reason, simply for just being in any of the Backrooms levels. Meaning that if you're lucky enough, or unlucky enough, you'll eventually at some point experience this level. And hopefully by the time you've made it to this level, all of the hundreds, if not thousands of kilometers you've walked in other levels will come in handy and give you the stamina required to run 10 kilometers without stopping in this crazy life or death scenario. And speaking of life or death, if you guys are enjoying this video, please consider subscribing today or leaving a like on this video for more interesting Backrooms content. I know the Backrooms movie just came out, so there might be a lot of new viewers from that. So in case you're new here, what's going on? I post brand new videos every single week. Mama Bro told me if I don't hit 2 million subscribers by the end of the year, she's gonna send me to the Backrooms. So please, save a bro's life, subscribe today, and with that, let's get to the final Backrooms level that is, in my opinion, the scariest Backrooms level to ever exist, at least so far.
He's really good. Trust me, bro. Subscribe to him. He's really good.
Level 666. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the final level in this video, somehow in one piece. And in my opinion, this last level is by far and potentially undeniably the most terrifying, and even, if I would be so bold to say, the most interesting in the entire list, if not the entire lore of the Backrooms. The survival difficulty of this level is actually undetermined, and that's just because the properties of this level are mysterious. There's not much known information, and there's not any documented entities. And the reason for this, in my opinion, is epic, but also terrifying. Level 666 is a personalized hell that's more or less tailored to your exact worst nightmares, which is why there's no documented recordings. Because for starters, most people that enter never leave. And people that are able to leave cannot even explain the horror.
Wow, that's so crazy though. That's a smart idea for a room, but that's so crazy. Get a room though.
They just saw and experienced. Because once again, this level is literally your own personalized hell. Now, while every experience in this level is personalized and also solo, meaning whatever this level manifests for you can only be experienced by you and cannot be shared by anybody else, and you can't enter with anybody else, the one common denominator amongst all manifestations is the appearance of a neon sign or writing on a wall or writing of some sort that says, "Welcome to Hell," serving as a morbid and quite obvious reminder that you are literally in your own hell. There has been classifications of manifestations that have been created to kind of help categorize the types of experience people have had generally. And the acronym that's used for this organization is DEALS: Destruction, Entities, Audio, Lighting, Insanity. And basically, each one of these different categories describes how this level affects each of those instances. In some cases, there's a lot of destruction. In some cases, there's none. In some cases, your manifestation is full of entities, and some there are none. In some manifestations, the sounds are terrifying and just too—
What? That's so cool. If you're not there, of course, because if you're there, that's actually so terrifying. Like, what's your worst fear? Drop that in the comments or type that in the chat on Twitch. Type that in the comments. What's your worst fear? Worst thing you know ever? Mine, I hate bugs, so I'm never gonna play grounded.
Too loud and ear piercing, and some you are left with brutal silence. Some manifestations have the brightest lights imaginable, and some are pitch black. And some manifestations are meant to instantly turn you insane, while others are meant to maintain your sanity so that you can fully experience the torment you're going through. For some people, their experience in level 666 could literally just be being chased by a pack of rabid wolves. And for somebody else, level 666 could simply be them being chased by a giant job application.
Bro,
Officially,
what?
there's no known ways to enter this level. Not that anybody would ever want to. And the only reported way to leave this level is by performing some sort of ritual, although that's kind of outside of the scope of this video. But if you guys want more Backrooms content or just scary content in general, leave a like or leave a comment on this video right now.
Wow. Good video, but trust me, bro, again. So everyone that was watching, check him out. He makes so good videos, and I hope you guys liked this react. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Check out my Twitch where I stream all of this. See you guys in the video another time. Goodbye.